Greetings and welcome back, everybody. Today we have another session in the science. What science? What is this science, Michael? Why did we have to be so thoroughly indoctrinated with this stuff? It's all they teach us, Michael. Welcome, Michael. It's Saturday, June 26th today, 2021, and Michael is in Germany. I'm here in the United States, and we have a 7-hour difference between each other. Welcome, Michael.
Yeah, welcome, Brett. My brother, Brett, on the other side of the ocean. It's a lovely Sabbath. Most of the people are outside at the moment. We are in the inside because we are serving the truth, and we want to know the truth. And I think that it's back to the Garden of Eden when Eve was so keen on having more knowledge than she could handle. Yeah,
the knowledge it wasn't just Eve, Michael.
It wasn't just the knowledge of good and evil.
That is the story. It will be really interesting to know more about that, but I'm afraid in this life we're not going to get that. We have to be patient.
So, we are making so many Bible references here and then.
Mm-hmm.
See, we will always get back to the thing that the serpent was convincing Eve and, after all, Adam.
The serpent's plan then, Michael.
The serpent's plan that people need knowledge. And there is a big debate what knowledge really is. And we had talked about it for several sessions. And we will always get back to the topic on what science really is, or what real science would be. And people make science a religion because most of the things or the so-called presented facts you cannot prove for yourself. You don't have an electron microscope. You can't see many things. You have to figure it out. On the other hand, what it is and how it works. And you see that we are so limited by our senses, actually, that we need tools to help us, like a microscope, like chemical reactions. But there is a certain part which is hidden to us because it is not, for man, I think, supposed to have the entire knowledge, as you already pointed out. But the serpent tried to beguile Eve that it is absolutely necessary to have the absolute inside knowledge. And so we will have to go into that, what happened actually in the beginning of mankind. Eve and Adam were then convinced that it is absolutely okay to not to follow God's commandment to eat from the fruit of the forbidden tree. And so they didn't obey, and therefore God said, okay, I will refuse you to have you in the Garden of Eden anymore. You will be thrown out and you will have to live your life. You will die. So it is absolutely the opposite of what the serpent says. And the serpent did not hold his promises. The serpent said, you surely not die. So you see, the serpent is lying. Yeah, the serpent is really lying. But we will get back to that fact later on, or in this or next episode, I don't know. But last episode, we were talking about the sacred prostitution on the example of what the Babylonians in the first cities they have erected, what they actually worshipped. And that was a kind of female deity for fertility. And that's why we're going down the next path. People might think that why he's talking about prostitution. I think that in this or the next session, it will be really visible and really clear why I'm making that statement here. It is, for me, it is absolutely necessary to think of all the evolvements and of the results out of this, that people are worshipping images and idols. We are talking about the second commandment here. We are talking about another version of the golden calf, actually. But now it is a female version, it is a female deity. And that was, amongst others, what the Babylonians and people in the old Mesopotamia, the Assyrians and Sumerian and so are worshipping. So let's continue from the last session. Science is the new religion. This is, if you might like to see it in this way, this is Sacred Prostitution Part 2. In the famous Gilgamesh story, it is a story Yeah, it is a story. There is also a prominent role for a female deity. But there are many historians who claim that, now it gets really difficult, that in that epic, a great flood has been inserted afterwards, so that the Gilgamesh epos can claim itself to be of historian correctness. I know of many historians who have claimed about, no, it's a different writing style and it did not has anything to do with the official Gilgamesh claim. So Gilgamesh is like all the myths, it's a fairy tale. Yeah, but in Gilgamesh, Ishtar has a prominent role. That's the big thing. If you go down to the tale of Gilgamesh, we can go to the Gilgamesh that people actually really know what's all about. Gilgamesh epos, yeah. We have to go there down the path in English. Yeah, it's an ancient Mesopotamia regarded as the earliest surviving notable literature and the second oldest religious text after the Pyramid text. Yeah, you see that here the Sumerian poems about Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, dating from the 3rd dynasty of Ur, 2100 BCE. That would be after the flood. Okay?
Correct.
After the flood. That was written, but we do not know where is the origin of the tale itself. So it was written in 2100 before Christ. Sorry, you see? Huh? Did I catch that on another episode before Common Era? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see that it's been changing away from Christ everywhere. Officially, they say that you have to have tolerance. Tolerance means to suffer for any other religious systems or religious group. They could be offended if you say before Christ. Yeah? Okay, you see that. It is popular fiction, yeah. Everything about that. This is an ancient epic poem. It has nothing to do actually with all the surroundings and happenings which took place, because they didn't. Yeah, they didn't take place. Ishtar never existed. That is just an ancient fertility goddess. Yeah. And therefore, from there came several stories about precious stones you have to wear yourself on a necklace. They will heal you, they will cover you, they will protect you. You see, this is all from the ancient belief systems that you need anything of material substance to protect you from anything spiritual, which is absolutely BS. Nothing materialistic can protect you from anything spiritual. Yeah, as in the Ephesians chapter 6, it has been said that we are not dealing with flesh and blood, but with powers of spiritual powers in high places.
Spiritual wickedness in high places.
Spiritual wickedness in high places had nothing to do. You cannot protect yourself with a lapis stone. Okay, so that was just the introduction here. You see big breasts, always a sign for fertility. This is a statue of a temple of a Hindu goddess Durga. Yeah, you see that these Indian things, yeah, may be derived from Inanna, because it has always been in association with lions, and we have learned in last time that lions are a major symbol of Inanna, which is another form of Ishtar. So the cult of Inanna Ishtar, that was the end of the last session here, may have been introduced by the kingdom of Judah during the reign of King Manasseh. Although Inanna herself is not directly mentioned in the Bible by name, the Old Testament contains numerous allusions to her cult. Jeremiah 7:18 and Jeremiah 44 mention the Queen of Heaven. So it absolutely makes no difference if it calls Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, or in that case, in the Indian room, Durga. And you have in every culture, you got so many female deities who actually been originated from the Babylonian worship of Ishtar, Astarte, Inanna. Yeah. So the Queen of Heaven. Also Solomon, who used to be described in the Bible as a wise man, it's been said in the 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 5. that Brett will now read, that he did something which is an abomination to the Lord.
Mm-hmm. So I'll start with verse 1, Michael.
You could also, you could start from 1 to 5. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come into you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon gave, what is that? Clave? Unto these in love. Yeah, clave, I think it is, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Amorites. Yeah, and Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not after the Lord, as did David his father.
Yeah, and so if you put it in context, the 1 Corinthians 3, you see that what it's not only Romans 1:22, which claims that professing to be wise they became fools. It's also the 1 Corinthians that they say that there is no wise man on the earth, which you see on the perfect example, in my humble opinion, on Solomon. You see, Brett, what's been told here in verse 18 to 20 in the 1 Corinthians?
Yeah, we have chapter 3, verse 18, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world or life or death or things present or things to come, all are yours, and ye are Christ's, and Christ is God's.
Yeah, so I think there are no wise men on this earth. Even Solomon, who was renowned.
That should be, by the way, an apostrophe S. It belongs to God. Yeah, Christ belongs to God, yes. Mm-hmm. Not God's plural, listen. No. There are many gods. No. It's God's possession. Okay. Let's make that perfectly clear.
So you got the example that also Solomon went after pagan gods or goddesses, and on that account, female gods, female so-called gods. And in Ezekiel 8:14, it's been mentioned, Inanna's husband Dumutzid under his later East Semitic name Tammuz. And describes a group of women mourning Tammuz's death while sitting near the north gate of the temple in Jerusalem. This is the verse from Ezekiel 8. This is 14. Yeah.
And he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, for which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Yes.
Yeah, you see that it's been backed up by the Bible in so many instances. Yeah, towards the east means they are sun worshippers. Yeah, they worship the sun towards the east. It has been clearly written here. It's been clearly written here. If you then think of the flag of Japan with the big red sun disk on it, Yeah, Japan is in the east, I'd say. The cult of Inanna Ishtar is heavily influenced by the cult of the Phoenician goddess Astoret. The Phoenician started to the Greek islands of Cyprus and Cythera. Why?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Where she either gave rise to or heavily influenced the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite took on Inanna Ishtar's association with sexuality and procreation. You see why it is important to go into this subject is procreation. People think they can create life. You see that the name of Eve, actually, if you go down that path, means life giver. So the highest power a man can or a woman can achieve is giving birth, because then she can claim herself to be the creator of life. You know why I'm going that path now?
Yes, right.
Yeah. Furthermore, she was known as Urania, which means heavenly, a title corresponding to Inanna's role as the Queen of Heaven. What does the Bible tells us? The Queen of Heaven has been mentioned in the context of Astarte or Astaroth and Inanna and Ishtar. It's all the same. And now we learn that in the Greek mythical Rome, it's been the equivalent of Aphrodite. In the Hittite creation myth, Ishtar is born after the god Kumari overthrows his father Anu. Yeah? Kumari bites off Anu's genitals and swallows them. You see the same thing as Saturn and so Kronos and Uranus in the Romans. You see, it has developed, the names have changed, but the story stays the same. This account later became the basis for the Greek story of Uranus' castration by his son Kronos, resulting in the birth of Aphrodite. Kronos is another name for... What was the first name of the city of Rome? Stir. Okay? Resulting in the birth of Aphrodite. So this is... You see, this is just mythological nonsense, but many people are worshipping pagan gods, including Solomon, who seems to be the wisest man on earth on that time. But he fell for the beauty of the women, of the hundreds of women he got. You see, if you are a star in this world, if you are a king, a priest, a singer, an actor, a writer, what else? Yeah, they are taught. You got so many women's or female fans been throwing in your direction, and so one at a time you won't resist them, and then you're not serving God, who demands that it's only legal in a marriage to have a sexual relationship with somebody. But yeah, you see that you've been worshipped as a god for yourself, and that was, in my humble opinion, in the case of Solomon. Yeah, hundreds of women. I'm a little bit surprised that very rarely people go into that and they praise Solomon as be so wise, but on the other hand, they won't mention his downfall. Yeah? So in antiquity, there was a Greek myth of Aphrodite and Adonis, shown here on the altar of the Greek city of Taras in Magna Graecia, 400 before Christ, or before Common Era. Huh? You see, it's been switching here. Early artistic portraits of Aphrodite are extremely similar to Inanna Ishtar. Aphrodite was also a warrior goddess. The 2nd century Greek geographer Pausanias records that in Sparta, Aphrodite was worshipped as Aphrodite Area, which means warlike. Aha, so love and war. Huh? The Greek work, Aphrodite also observed Ishtar's association with doves, which were sacrificed to her alone. The Greek word for dove was peristera, which may be derived from the Semitic phrase pera Ishtar, meaning bird of Ishtar. The myth of Aphrodite and Adonis is derived from the story of Inanna and Dumut. It's every time the same. And now you might wonder why I have inserted here the prominent Swedish band ABBA. Sold about 300 million records. Because you see, they've also been worshipping a queen who dances, who has something to do with the music. And I did a 32 session investigation about that Swedish group. Yeah, it's not about their records, it's just about the things in the background. And these people are into the Greek myth extensively. You may find it very weird to hear it in the science is a new religion context, but nevertheless, I decided to let you know for about 10 minutes what it's all up with ABBA, and also what it's about up with also these pagan goddesses, because ABBA is purely Greek mythology, and ABBA has something to do with Freemasonry as well, as I think that the vast majority of people don't know. This is their only...
Oh, you're talking about initiating, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. You see that I'm talking about this is nice music for people.
In other words, let's be real quick about this. There's something called esotericism, and esotericism thrives on initiating lay people into occult practices without their knowledge, and that is called exoteric. And the esoteric is the inside knowledge on how to use the ignorant masses.
Yeah, they're being used. You see, they give their money for that for this music.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing, Michael. We covered that in I don't know how many episodes of the Satanic Media Agenda Exposed, and what you can take away from that is that esotericism is far more elaborate than you ever knew. Far more complicated than you ever knew. Why? Because the elite use the masses for their purposes. And they have to have these people to do the work in order to keep us dumbed down, don't they, Michael?
Sure. You see, can you imagine that I have spoken far more than 32 hours about that? You see that this goes so deep. Yeah, but this goes so deep. But you might really be unaware of the fact what actually happens behind the scenes at ABBA. This is a big money machine, and also these people are, especially the songwriter Björn Ulvaeus is absolutely into Luciferian doctrine. He thinks he doesn't believe in any god; he just believes in himself. And you see that, so he thinks he's gifted. And you see that Dancing Queen was the only #1 in the United States in 1976. So I think that the sound must be very familiar with the listeners, because I think they are far more older than 40 years old, something like that. Dancing Queen, for example, starts with the piano coming from the top tone, moving steadily and very fast to the low tone, which means somebody is going down. So thrown out from above to beyond, or from heaven to the earth. Yeah, listen. I hope it's loud enough. If I have to do it on the second computer, listen to that. Yeah, maybe you have heard it. So the sound is familiar to everyone. Yeah, so this is such a nice song.
Dancing Queen, yeah.
The Dancing Queen, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with Christianity, actually. It is about that everybody can be a queen. You see, this is a text. You can dance, you can jive. Jive means also to betray somebody. Yeah, it's a reference also to 1975 top #1 song from the Bee Gees, Jive Talking. But if you would go down that path, we are doing 34 hours here of ABBA. Having the time of your life, see that girl, watch that scene, digging the Dancing Queen. Okay, so far so good. And the problem occurs now. Friday night and the lights are low. What is Friday night? It's the beginning of the Sabbath.
That's right, Michael.
Yeah. So Friday night, and you won't have to think about Sabbath.
And the lights are low. That means the sun went down. Yeah.
The sun went down, or the lights are low. Jesus Christ is the light of the world.
Looking for a place to go.
Yeah. You come to look for a king, so you don't have the Sabbath. You go out and have fun and party.
Yeah, right.
Anybody could be that guy. Yeah, you see, the night is young and the music's high, so maybe it has something to do with drugs. With a bit of rock music, everything is fine. You're in the mood for dance.
Do what you like, yeah.
Do what you want is do what thou wilt.
The old satanic grand commandment there. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so innocent. It's so innocent, and the big thing is coming up now. When you get the chance, you are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17, so you're underaged. You're underage. You cannot be 18. 17. You have to have a rhyme. Yeah. You have to have a rhyme. Sure. Yeah? Just looking. And now comes the biblical reference.
Oh, feel the beat of the tambourine. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, there you got Ezekiel 28 already.
Right.
But nobody knows because they don't read the Bible.
Feel the beat from Lucifer.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah. You're a teaser, leave him burning, and then you're gone. So it's all egoism. You see where it's going to.
And you're making a ton of money while you're doing it, too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what is money anyway? Debt notes. Yeah, we're far, far deeper in this bondage to sin than we ever.
Yeah, the people are so young, they absolutely have no clue what it's all about.
Yeah, you get them while you're young, eh?
You get them while you're young.
Yeah, that's right.
Feel the beat.
Feel the beat from paganism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Just what we need.
Agneta Feldskog, the blonde girl from ABBA, was the blonde homely girl. This is from the official so-called behind the scene biography. Agneta Feldskog was the blonde homely girl who became a reluctant superstar, the purveyor of heartbreak, the group's sex symbol. Bright Light, Dark Shadows, the real story of ABBA by Carl Magnus Palm. Yeah? So, one of the two singers was a reluctant sex symbol for whom fame became a poison chalice, the other an orphan, etc. So a reluctant sex symbol. We're speaking about the worship of fertility, of being a sex idol. So that is Agneta Feldskog. Okay? Agneta Feldskog had a relationship with a stalker, which even went into a real relationship. So he stalked her. He went from the Netherlands by car to Sweden, and he approached her several times. He even bought a house nearby, and he stalked her that until it was it broke up. He confronted her again. He stood on her balcony or something like that, on the front of her door, even at the night, and she had to call the police. Yeah. So this stalker was said to have harassed Agneta for 3 years, writing several hundred letters. Inside at his home was a bucket filled with excrements and a dead turtle. Yeah? You cannot believe what's happening at ABBA. Yeah? That the singer had a relationship with a possessed fan, actually, with a possessed fan. Yeah, and yeah. They found a bucket filled with excrements and a dead turtle. And almost everybody would have read and said that, so what? Yeah, he had turtle soup. I think it has something other to do. Because this Gert van der Graaf, the stalker she had, or our female sex symbol of ABBA, They were together for about 2 years. He was an ordinary truck driver. He purchased a house near Agneta's farm in Sweden and also found employment in Sweden as a truck driver. His house had no sewage system, and when the police came to arrest him, they were met by an unbelievable stench. Immediately inside the door, there was a bucket filled with excrement and a dead turtle. Gert van der Graaf was issued with a restraining order forbidding him to get in touch with Agneta in any way whatsoever. And I thought that is very strange, Brett. The turtles are symbolic for their long life in China and Japan. The turtle stands for the order of the cosmos in the ancient mythologies. The heavens are symbolized by the shell of the turtle. The earth is symbolized by the body of the turtle. The underworld is symbolized by the shell underneath its body. 100,000 turtles sacrificed in ritual slaughter to celebrate Hindu festival. I think, might be a Hindu follower or what? Or could it be something else? And I found something else. This is a book called Turtwas in Mythology and Ritual by Hukam Chand Pataya, East and West. In this book, it's been stated that there is a goddess of Kali. Kali Puja is a ritual to worship a godly mother in the form of Kali. Interesting. Okay, a godly mother worship. So this is a book, Turtwas in Mythology and Ritual. I won't try to bother you with all the facts in that book here, but you see that is very strange when the police comes up to a house who has and founds a dead turtle. Okay, and don't you know this man was possessed with the sex symbol Agneta of the Swedish group ABBA, and once again this group does favor Greek gods. We will go into that. What are turtles? Turtles is also a symbol of Phoenix Masonry. In the Masonic Museum, there is even a sticker here, "Are you a turtle?" And also in the television series, Milo the Pony, the Rainbow Dash character, which is a sort of gender change because he's a she, and therefore he bears rainbow colors, the best friend chooses to be a turtle because she's so wise. The turtle is a sacred figure in Native American symbolism. And as it represents Mother Earth, the meaning of the turtle symbol signifies good health and long life. The turtle has a great longevity, living up to 150 years. The hard shell represents perseverance and protection. And there is a park of monsters, or the sacred wood of Bomarzo in Lazio, Italy. From my German session, 116, Hollywood in Egypt, there is a strange woman figure riding on a turtle in this wood of Bomarzo. Sacro Bosco means the sacred wood. Sacred wood? Holy wood? Okay, it's big enough, I think. This is a statue of a turtwas, a symbol of the goddess Aphrodite. Or, in Roman terms, Venus in the Park of Monsters, or the Sacred Wood of Bomarzo in Lazio, Italy. Once again,
strange.
The possessed fan had a dead turtle behind the door, together with excrements. Interesting. If you go down deeper into this, you find that Aphrodite has been worshipped also from several artists, like this guy Salvador Dali, who had his muse Amanda Lear, which was born as a he, and then was being operated into a she. But that's another story. The Venus of Milo has been stated also as Aphrodite from Melos. Yeah, so these are kind of names are interchangeable. And also in the television series, The Owls Are Not What They See, meaning Twin Peaks, there is that stature of a female goddess without an arm in the, I would say in the hell, but in their Black Lodge. Yeah, so Black Lodge, actually this serpent pattern here, you see that it's actually the hell or the underworld. Yeah. And this is a Black Lodge with an owl. You see the owl here from the Peter Gabriel sessions, and the Venus of Milo, which is also at the same time the Aphrodite of Melos. And Aphrodite was before Venus, because the Greek Empire was much more before the Roman Empire. Okay? So the statue is believed to depict Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. However, some scholars claim it is the sea goddess Aphrodite. You will never stop if you go down that mythology path, but which we don't want to do. The statue is named after Aphrodite's Roman name Venus and the Greek island of Milos, where it was discovered. You see, the sea goddess and the queen of the sea. Blah, 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 blah. Aphrodite is in the Greek mythology the goddess of love, of beauty, and one of the 12 Olympic goddesses. She was the protection of sexuality and of, fertility. Yeah. Once again, he said in this biography that Agneta Feldskog was a vergötterte sex symbol. She was a godlike sex symbol. According to the Greek mythology, she would be the Aphrodite. Maybe you now know why I get down the path with Aphrodite and Abba, because you see that Abba is into Freemasonry. Freemasonry worships these Greek goddesses and Greek philosophy. Knowledge means gnosis. Yeah. So this is it's been said, the rumor of the birth of Aphrodite in a shell. Yeah. In a shell, the Greek Aphrodite could be the Phoenician Astarte. This is German here, yeah, from a historian. Also, the relation between Aphrodite, which with the island of Cyprus, is the same as she was the goddess of the morning glow, or the red of the morning. Yeah. And interesting that she had a relationship with Torbjörn Brander, which was a police detective, and he had to be departed out of Sweden for a period of military service with the United Nations battalion in Cyprus. Interesting, huh? Cyprus is there where Aphrodite's origin is claimed to be. Yeah? And aurora is the Latin meaning of the morning glow. And it's aurora also is the same in the Greek goddess Eos. And yeah, you see that also when Agneta Feldskog was engaged to Björn Ulvaeus, she traveled with him and a good friend. And so with all the 4 ABBA members, they traveled after their engagement to Cyprus, where they engaged themselves in Cyprus. You know, you can have now 10, 20 similarities and strange coincidences from me. It has everything to do, ABBA has everything to do with Greek mythology. Yeah? Saturn means Chronos. It's where the chronograph has its name from, because Satan is Saturn. It's Satan, but Saturn is the one who says now it's time to go. Yeah, it's the one. It's the Grim Reaper. Yeah, it's also the reason why it says it's depicted here on the card 13 of Tarot with the dead. And this is no coincidence that in the Blue Oyster card, the song "Don't Fear the Reaper" from the 1970s has been depicted with a skeleton with the You see what I mean? Okay.
Instead of fear God,
don't fear the Reaper.
Don't fear Satan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Reaper also is the one depicted who cut off the phallus of Uranus. Yeah, so Cronus did castrate his father Uranus. Did
everything backwards, Michael.
Everything backwards.
Everything upside down.
Yeah, yeah, and from that killing of or the castrating of his father, Aphrodite was coming out of the sea in Cyprus, and she went on land in Cyprus. Okay, so much for Greek mythology. That's why the Greek goddess Aphrodite is being depicted in a shell, and that's where the oil company Shell has got his symbol and his name of. Okay. Okay, so let's go down the path. This is everything has to do with Greek mythology. The son of Aphrodite is Eros. Okay, Eros means erotic. Okay. This is Eros. Aphrodite and Eros, an idol from the 1st century before Christ in Corinthia. Yeah, Eros as a child 400 before Christ is depicted here. Yeah, and so the Bible says in 1 John 5:21, Brad, little children, keep yourselves from idols. Yeah, because idols is
sorry, Michael, you caught me off guard there.
Yeah, okay, no problem. You see that these are worshipping of images and idols. Yeah, of Aphrodite and Iris. They never existed. People venerate some images. Yeah, false gods.
Image worship. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is coming from the British Encyclopedia. Brett has handed it over to me about idolatry. Yeah, this indicate all the rites and practices of those special forms of paganism with which Christianity first came into collision. Yeah, and that's what it is. It is not much else than, you see that even Solomon went after a pagan goddess. Sure, because he had hundreds of women. He didn't keep one and said, okay, this is my wife and I'm married to her, and I keep the 10 Commandments, which says that you should not, help me out, Brett, in the 10 Commandments I have to look it up here. You should not watch the wife of your neighbor or something like that. I know it's...
don't covet your neighbor's wife. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there it is, huh? There it is. Yeah, that is in the 10 Commandments. So, but Solomon did not obey. It is here stated here in the... just had it here. In the widest acception of the word, idolatry in any form is absolutely forbidden in the second commandment, which one, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Yeah, what is it when people are worshipping, venerating pagan goddess like Solomon did? Yeah. Yeah. And Aphrodite has been accused to start the Trojan War. Yeah. And that's where the city of Paris got his name, about the son of the Trojan king, if I remember correctly. This is called, he is called Paris. Yeah, so you got it everywhere. Europe is the lover of Zeus, and Paris is related to Troya. Yeah, and people don't think that these old things have no meaning nowadays. Yeah. Think again, please. Yeah, the Swedish pop group said there is a Cassandra warning. Yeah, who warned about the Trojan War, and the Swedish pop group ABBA, they did a song on Cassandra in 1982, about the destruction of Troya. Yeah. You see it here. The day before you came, Cassandra under attack. ABBA, 1982, German television. So if you go down that path, you will see it everywhere. Yeah. Eggs are the festival of Astarte. Yeah, Easter, Astarte, Ishtar. Yeah? The sacred egg. In ancient time, eggs were used in the religious rites of the Egyptians and the Greeks and were hung up for mystic purposes in their temples. Yeah, but the children nowadays, they are absolutely clueless. Yeah? Venus afterwards was called the Syrian goddess, that is Astarte. Yeah, you can look it everywhere on many pages. Yeah, secret eggs, also a little bit more grander scale. Yeah, and Aphrodite has been, was in reference of the turtle. Yeah, even in a museum. Yeah, even in museums, and turtle in Greek, chelon. Yeah. Yeah, even these things in the shape of a turquoise, of a turtle. There are sea turtles and land turtles. You can go into that extensively, yeah, but I cannot do it in that short time period we have. Another Aphrodite Urania is on the Kolonos Agarius in Athena in Greek, and another depiction of Aphrodite with a turtle is in a relief in the Vatican. Why does the Vatican promote pagan goddesses, Brett?
Oh, why? Because they worship pagan goddesses.
Yeah, they also don't accept the second commandment.
They just call themselves Christian, by the way.
Yeah, but they also got rid of the second commandment in the Ten Commandments, you see?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Statue de Venus praxitierte Museo di Vatican, Rome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In Vatican City. Yeah. And besides temples, she had also sacred woods. Or may I call it holy woods? Because Hollywood is not holy. It sounds like Hollywood, but actually there are, I don't know, I've discovered, I think, 5 different explanations for Hollywood, but there is no official document who tells you why Hollywood has been named Hollywood. Yeah, unless I found some, I didn't found it actually. And there are several rumors why it is so, but you see that actually the Roman goddess, we're going into that, the Roman version of Aphrodite, and all these things, yeah, she had a sacred wood in Italy. Yeah, she had. So skipping it here. Yeah, so the cult of Aphrodite Urania, the heavenly one, was being moved from the Syrian Ascalon to Cyprus. Huh? The temple of heavenly Aphrodite, the Greek goddess mother of heaven and earth, worshipped by Eastern nations under various names, Melita in Assyria, Astarte in Phoenicia, called heavenly Aphrodite or simply the heavenly one by the Greeks. Good, getting on and on, and it's just a change of names. It's just a change of names. Yeah? Aphrodite Pandemos, so Aphrodite at the entire community. Yeah, and also in the Thessalonian metropolis. No, not that picture, but metropolis. Yeah, means a seat of the bishop, if I remember correctly. Huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. And also at the song for the manager of ABBA, they have been playing a song, especially a song with lyrics about the Parnasse, which is a mountainside in Greek. Yeah, it's the mountain of the muses. Yeah, muses. There comes music from. Yeah, the muse, a muse. Yeah, to be a muse, M-U-S-E. Yeah, there comes music. Ah, you cannot imagine. And also, this is an exhibition in Berlin, in Germany. Hera and Aphrodite in Athena, awaiting the judgment of Paris. Who's the most beautiful one? Yeah, yeah. This is it's really everywhere.
Strange.
It's everywhere in art. Yeah, yeah. See Paris, Aphrodite, Daphne, Hector, Mercurius, Hercules. Yeah, the eagle. Yeah, at the German law court. Yeah, or Prometheus, who has stolen the fire from the goddess and brought it to mankind. Yeah, therefore he was being punished. Yeah, and so the German bank also uses this kind of stuff in their sessions. Yeah, the president of the German Bundesbank uses Prometheus and Epimetheus in a digital age. Yeah? It's everywhere. Greek mythology and gnosis everywhere. Yeah? And in Sweden, in the ABBA Museum, for example, you cannot pay with coins or cash. You have to do it on a, yeah, you have to do it with a card or with a smartphone. And even in Swedish churches, you have a collectomat. That's a kind of a digital collection. So where you have to, can you donate your money? Huh? Donate your money on that machine. Yeah, don't make it cash. It's filthy. Huh? Cash has to be gotten rid of. Okay, so also the Piccadilly Circus, where the Super Trooper song of ABBA should be recorded and filmed, depicts a statue of Eros or Anteros, which is his evil brother. Huh? So you see it in the Piccadilly Circus, in the heart of London. In the heart of London. Yeah? Aphrodite, the Dark One. Yeah, because she has been born out of a murder, of Kronos. Yeah. This. So and the term of hermaphrodite, so it's who has symptoms of both sexes. Yeah. So for example, breasts and the phallus at the same time. It's a hermaphrodite, and this is nowadays very common that men disguise themselves as women and women, etc. And by the way, this is a winner of the European Song Contest of 2014. An artist, he dressed as she, called Conchita Wurst, which means Conchita meat, rise like a phoenix. Huh? Has nothing to do with mythology, huh? Rise like a phoenix out of the ashes, seeking rather than vengeance. Yeah. Rise like a phoenix. I rise up to the sky. You threw me down, but I'm gonna fly. Who could that be? Thinking of the Bible. It's all Luciferian doctrine all over again. Mm-hmm. It's Luciferian doctrine. And when Barnabas and Saul went to Cyprus in Acts 13:4, this is the German portion, I'm sorry, so I have to translate it. Yeah, they met a sorcerer and a false prophet, a Jew named Bar Jesus. Interesting name, huh? Bar Jesus. Yeah, and also Elimas the sorcerer. Yeah, they were fighting them, and yeah, you see that Cyprus is being depicted here in the Bible as full of sorcerers and idolaters. Okay.
This is all in German, Michael. What book, chapter and verse is that?
Acts 13.
Oh, thank you.
Acts. Yeah, this is the same as apostle. It means Acts okay. 13:4. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on. Venus of Milo. We had that in the Peter Gabriel sessions once again. I have to skip here. This I've taken here from Walter Veit. I know he's a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't want to go that path, but he has made in one of his sessions a comparison table about the names of all the pagan goddesses. Where it is on Lebanon, Phoenicians, Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Rome, Egypt, India, China, Mexico. You see here the pagan trinity.
The different names, yeah.
Yeah, the different names, yeah. It's all the same. Baal is Zeus, is Jupiter, is Ra, is Vishnu. It's all the same. It's all the same. Or here, Tammuz, the pagan messiah, is called Bacchus, or Hercules and Dionysus, Osiris. Yeah. And Semiramis, the queen of heaven, could be Astoret, Astarte, Rhea, Ishtar, Beltis, Aphrodite, Cybele, Diana, Isis, Hathor, Isi, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. Etc. And then you see the turtle under the feet of Aphrodite. Yeah, and ABBA has a musical called Mamma Mia. It's located in how could that be, Greece, in the Greek island, where a young woman looking desperately for her father doesn't know who her father is because her mother is having or is running a pub. Sure, yeah, her mother cannot remember with whom she has created her daughter. That's very modern, huh? Nothing to do with marriage or faith or something like that. Yeah, it has everything to do with egoism. Just have fun. Oh, where's your father? I don't know. I'm sorry, but could be him or him or him. But people like that. Oh, they like that musical, Mamma Mia. Oh, it's one of the most famous musicals here because it resembles all the ABBA songs. Yeah, the nude Aphrodite originated in Egypt. A Roman copy of the statue, the Venus of the Esquine, shows the goddess standing nude next to a hydra on which her clothing rests. So it has to be nude, so it has to be a fertility goddess. Okay, Aphrodite all over again. Aphrodite, born of the sea, out of a murderer, out of a castration of Uranus. Isn't that something, huh? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? You see that? You know why I did 34 hours only on ABBA. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You see, this is the last session, 156 in German, the 34th session on ABBA. Yeah, yeah. That she actually resembles Aphrodite in that context. She does, and not only she, Kylie Minogue as well. This is Kylie Minogue on her album Aphrodite. Huh? Nothing to do with mythology or what? Huh? This is mockery, huh? Or what is? Not many people know what the V sign actually means and why she's doing it over her left eye and why she's riding that beast. It's Aphrodite. Does that look like a normal stage, Brad?
That looks like the altar to Satan.
That looks
Pergamos.
like a pagan temple, I'd say.
Yeah, Pergamos, right?
Yeah, and also like Scarlet Woman, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, the harlot daughters.
The woman was clothed in purple and scarlet and with gold and precious stones, and he has a cup of all the filthiness of abomination, something like that.
Fornication. Filthiness of fornication, yeah.
It's fornication, yeah. This is what depicted here, the Aphrodite tour of Kylie Minogue. It's a temple. It's a worship. It's a worship of Aphrodite. Come on, what else can it be?
Right.
What else can it be? There are two columns, that means a temple. Yeah, the hands are raised above. She's looking to above, and at everything is named Kylie Aphrodite. Come on. There's not a second possibility. Okay. So, the song text of Kylie Minogue, Aphrodite, means I'm a golden girl, I'm an Aphrodite, all right. I'm fierce and I'm feeling mighty. Don't you mess with me. You don't want to fight me, all right. You know that I'm magical. It's a commonplace nowadays. And also, you see that if she does her famous song, which I have an entire video of, Can't Get You Out of My Head, she famously depicts a pentagram earring. Yeah? And she's moving her hips, yeah. Has something to do with fertility, huh? You see, you got it everywhere. This is Aphrodite. She was born out of a shell, out of the sea. My. Yeah, but the children have absolutely no clue, because you see that they found it. Oh, it's great. Yeah, there is no God. I don't believe in anything. So it just not make it. They just don't care if they talk about Aphrodite or Zeus or Baal. Yeah. Yeah. And in the Shaftesbury Memory Fountain, that's where ABBA wanted to go for their cover of their #1 hit Super Trooper, there is a statue of Eros, which is incorrectly, because it's not the statue of Eros, because it's a statue of a wing statue of Ant-Eros. That's the brother. That is the Ant-Eros. Ant-Eros, yeah. Ant-Eros means, okay, anti-Eros. Well, it's not the god of love. What's the opposite of love? You figure it out. Anti-Eros. Yeah, that's Ant-Eros. It's the same name. Yeah, but people don't know, because you see that even in Wikipedia it says that it's Eros. Known as Eros. Yeah, known as Eros. Commonly mistaken by Eros. It's Ant-Eros. It's also another non-existing. And so there is also an angel called Eros of Julius Kronberg Studios, a famous artist in Stockholm, a decorative painter. This is the last album of ABBA. And this picture here in the background, which is most prominent and imposant and dominant picture here, this is called Eros from Julius Kronberg. That's what you have to believe. Yeah, look at his wings. Look at the dust. Look at the smoke here. There's smoke coming out of his wings. What could that be, Brett? When smoke is coming out of your wings?
Yeah. Good question.
Got too hot? Something burned. Huh?
Got too hot, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a fire, anyone?
Yeah, sure. So it's an angel here. It's depicted as Eros. Yeah. But Eros, you see, is Aphrodite's child. Yeah. So you got Greek mythology and ABBA once again. Once again, Aphrodite's child is also a Greek band from Vangelis, a famous instrumental composer. Chariots of Fire, for example.
Oh, and they bear the number of The mark of the beast.
Yeah, sure. 666, Aphrodite's child.
So in other words, we work for the oppressors, and we're going to put it out there.
Yeah, Aphrodite's Child was a Greek progressive rock band from 1968 to 1972.
We make lots of money because we work for the enemy.
Yeah.
And we thought you should know.
Yeah, we thought you should know. Yeah, and somebody wrote here incorrectly, the word Ishtar does not appear to be derived from Ishtar, but from the German Eostre, the goddess of the dawn. Well, Ishtar was far more early than a German goddess, because the cradle of mankind, the first civilization, was in Mesopotamia, not in Germany, okay? But you see that there is so many misinformation on the internet. Okay? So much for ABBA. Maybe I should have told you that the songwriter of ABBA, Björn Ulvaeus, was a member of a society, which is a Greek letter society. Which is a forerunner of the Freemasons, and there are so many hints that ABBA really has a Freemasonic direction, especially from the writer Björn Ulvaeus. Inanna is one of the names of the heritage floor of the dinner party by American feminist artist Judy Chicago as a related woman to Ishtar, who has sat on the table. Inanna is worshipped as a form of the goddess in modern neo-paganism and Wicca. Her name occurs in the refrain of the Burning Times chant, one of the most widely used Wiccan liturgies. Inanna's descent into the underworld was the inspiration of the descent of the goddess, one of the most popular and mostly important myths in gardening, Wicca. Hello, Mr. Gerald Gardner, the founder, so-called founder of modern witchcraft, Wicca. Okay? The Gardnering Book of Shadows, being the original Book of Shadows as compiled by Gerald Gardner. He says, quote, witches are peaceful religious people. They are religious people, sure, but peaceful? So this is the Wiccan founder Gerald Gardner, who established a religion through an amalgamation of occult, Freemasonry, Theosophy, and Aleister Crowley's belief, because they had close contact from their time together at the Ordo Templi Orientis, OTO, and Order of the Golden Dawn. And they also have a combination to, look at here, Inanna's descent into the underworld. Inanna Ishtar being worshipped even today at a Wicca religion, which is the modern form of witchcraft. So this is Gerald Bosso Gardner, 1884 to 1964, the father of modern witchcraft. Yeah, and now compare it, please, to this. Make it a little bit more easy to compare. Okay, this is an English television series of the 1970s, so a few years after he has passed away, called Catweasel. Catweasel is an ancient sorcerer from the Middle Ages who has been transported by a time machine into the 1970s of the United Kingdom. Isn't there a resemblance to Gerald Gardner? I found that very, very interesting because I was very familiar with that kind of television set. So the television set, once again, puts us in that direction that, oh, it's so funny to have a little bit of magic. Yeah, it is very funny, huh? When he is listening to vinyl records and says, oh, this is magical because there's music coming out of it. Yeah? And he's also in a kind of magic circle, if you can see it here. Okay? So if you think that is very, very funny for the children, then think again at the next page. Okay? It's obvious enough, I hope, that he's doing the Manu Cornuta, the sign of the horns. Yeah? It's the same as the White Witch of New York from David Bowie, Wally Elmluck. We went into that. She said that Wicca is a time of remerge of the witch, and it's absolutely separate from black magic, voodoo, Satanism. Yeah, sure, we know a witch is a witch is a witch. Yeah. And many people who claim to be a son of Aleister Crowley, and yeah, so this is just that many people are using famous names. And if you think that, oh, this was more than a satanic media agenda session, then is science a new religion session, then you may be right, but you will see why I have mentioned that fertility rites and fertility goddess not in vain, because in the next upcoming session, we will go into that in the comparison of the Bible, because I had a strange thought that it could all be related, because we have to remember that all these, also this modern pagan cults or modern Wicca, witchcraft, also gets back to the first worshipping of pagan fertile female goddesses, even in Mesopotamia, in Uruk, in Babylon, etc., etc., etc. So from the start, from the beginning, they have worshipped female gods and goddesses, and that will be the next, and I think the final third part of the Sacred Prostitution. Because also, when Kylie Minogue does her stage show called Aphrodite, she's worshipping images and idols. It's a veneration of the goddess Aphrodite. It's a veneration of pagan idols. So I'm handing it over to my beloved brother Brett to close this session down, and I promise next session you will see why I did so much work on pop music and modern approaches like Wicca, ABBA, and Kylie Minogue. Thank you very much for your time, and Maranatha.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, this is really important, actually. Michael is done a really extensive work into, well, looking at the very roots of what we call entertainment. The promotion of anything to do with rebellion from God's commandments. That's what we find in this world. It's everywhere you look, it's everywhere you go. And, it has quite a few followers today, actually. I think, Michael, you're quite brave to be doing subjects on this topic, because it's really quite revolting to someone that wants to have faith in the Bible to find all these things to be true. But look, there aren't that many people that have faith in the Bible anymore, because it's been, what can I say? The people have been betrayed, and we've been betrayed. That's the point here. And it's time to really come out and say it like it is, and point the finger at the source of the problem. And that's what Michael is doing for us. And, it's not all that wonderful when you tell this to your friends and they scoff at you, but that's what happens, because this world is full of pagan idols and the promotion of all kinds of paganism in a modern context. So it really makes people uncomfortable when you mention to them that that's what they're doing. But that's what we find. That's the case. It's not a very pleasant thing to see your friends and family go down this path. But, our duty here is to stand for the truth. And that truth is in the Bible. It's not in the world. And that's a hard lesson for many, many people. But that's the truth, and that's what we find in the scriptures. And, well, Michael, I think we have quite a few more sessions to go, so we look forward to having you come back, and we'll see you next time. and keep your eyes on the truth. Keep your heart tuned to what the Bible is telling us, and that is that we're going to be witnessing a great deal of the controversies. And, you know, these are some very troubling times indeed. So I'm hoping that you can come back and be a part of our study as we look at the, what should we say, the contrast between what the world is telling us and what the scriptures have told us. So looking forward to seeing you back then. Maranatha.